The first thing I noticed wasn't the body on the floor, it was the smell. Warm perfume mixed with cold metal, the kind that clings to a room after something unforgivable has happened. Her phone kept vibrating beside her, screen cracked, my name flashing again and again. I didn't answer, and already knew what waited on the other end of that call. Excuses, panic, maybe a tremble pretending to be love. I stepped closer, careful not to leave prints in the streak of blood she'd dragged across the tiles. Not much, just a thin, deliberate line, like she'd tried to crawl toward help and realized too late that none was coming. The streetlight outside flickered through the blinds, cutting her still body into shifting fragments. Behind me, someone whispered, "You didn't hear this from me." But I had heard enough, more than enough. And the truth hummed through the silence like a warning. This wasn't an accident. I sorted through the room the same way I sorted through lies, slowly, without blinking. Her purse was overturned, not in a struggle, but in a hurry. A receipt from a hotel she never mentioned. A lipstick shade she never wore around me. And on the floor, a rideshare notification glowing on the shattered screen. Same night. Wrong driver. My best friend's name. Logic steadied me while emotion clawed at my throat. I replayed each detail like evidence in a private courtroom. Nothing fit, nothing aligned. And nothing she told me could stand against the quiet truth rising like cold water around my ankles. People didn't look at me the same after that night. Too much softness in their voices. Too much space between sentences. As if they knew something I hadn't said aloud yet, that my wife had been slipping away from me long before the blood on the floor. The unraveling started small, a coworker's hesitation, a neighbor's glance that lingered a second too long. Everyone was avoiding a truth they didn't want to be the one to deliver. When I finally spoke to him, my best friend, he wouldn't meet my eyes. His voice cracked on simple words. And in that crack, something inside me clicked into place. This wasn't random. This wasn't a robbery. This wasn't a mistake. She had been planning something. He had been part of it. And the night she got into his car was the moment the plan slipped. The moment she realized betrayal travels faster than guilt. I felt paranoia settle over me like static, humming relentlessly. The security footage wasn't hard to find. She never noticed the camera in the garage, the one angled just enough to catch her slipping into his car, laughing, leaning in too close. A second clip showed them arguing hours later, her shoving him grabbing her arm, and then her falling out of frame. I didn't need more. The truth wasn't about jealousy or lust, it was about control. His control over her control over the lie, and the quiet, calculated moment they both realized their secret was a blade pointed at my back. And now, finally, I had the handle. I didn't yell, I didn't accuse, I simply placed the flash drive on the table between us, watched his face lose its structure, watched his breath catch like he'd swallowed glass. He tried to speak, but guilt has a way of strangling a man long before justice reaches him. I forwarded the footage, not to the police, to everyone he feared, his boss, his family, the rideshare company, the neighbors he pretended were his friends. He realized too late that exposure was a sentence sharper than any weapon. By the time the authorities arrived, he wasn't fighting. He was crumbling, a man trapped in a truth he could no longer manipulate. He looked at me once, defeated, and whispered, "You planned this." I didn't deny it. Some truths don't need confirmation. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it exhales, slow, precise, and final. After everything ended, the house felt too quiet. Her things remained where she left them, untouched, unclaimed, irrelevant. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel grief. I only felt the weight of certainty settling into my bones. People asked if I was okay. I told them the truth. Feelings weren't part of this. Facts were. I walked out of that house without looking back, leaving the ghosts to whoever needed them more. Some stories don't end with forgiveness. They end with a single, simple truth. Justice was never about mercy. It was about making sure the lie never breathes again.